Great. We're recording. Okay, welcome everybody. The playlist for tonight's class, we're going to be doing restorative, is Yo Soy, and it's UH West Oahu Yo Soy. You can scan it, and we just press play on the first song. So meet me on your mat and come to broken toe pose. Yes, Ernie and Kamali have been here for almost a minute. And you can also bring 2 blocks underneath your shoulders to just take some of the weight out of your feet, right? So you can bring your weight into your hands and just alleviate what's going on in your toes. But again, breathe into that. And just know that as you settle in or maybe soften, you're just creating space. You can even rock side to side. It really doesn't look like we're doing much of anything, right? But it's intense. I see you, Ernie. Breathe. Yeah. So this posture is so intense because we generally spend a lot of time on our feet, and things get stuck in our fascia and the bottoms of our feet. We may not even think about it, but we do get knots down there and just a lot of stuck energy. All of our nerve endings are down there too. So when we give ourselves this time to just create some space in our feet, it can be very painful. Yeah, if we're not used to it, if we're not ready for it. So take 3 more full rounds of breath here. Nice big slow breath. Inhale. Exhale out. 2 more. Breathe in. Exhale out. Last one here. Breathe in. Exhale out. And slowly shift your weight forward. Take the weight out of your toes. And this can be just as intense. You can just point your toes back and tap out the tops of your feet. Tap it out, get the blood flowing. And then point your toes back and shift your weight back under your heels and just take a little counter stretch right here. So lift your knees, hinge back, and stretch out the tops of your feet and ankles. So it doesn't matter how far back you go. It's really just about the opening and the space that you feel in those areas. I'm going to shift forward again and grab your 2 blocks if you have 2 blocks or pillows or books, and come into extended child's pose. So bring your toes together and your knees out wide, and bring your blocks about halfway out so that you can rest your elbows on your blocks. Start with your hands on the mat and bring your forehead down to the mat. Let everything rest and settle into your hips. And just having the blocks here will begin to create space in your shoulders. You can deepen the stretch and bend your elbows. Bring your palms together and your thumbs to the nape of your neck. This is reverse namaskar. And walk your elbows a little closer to each other and farther from your shoulders to deepen the stretch in your triceps. Now just settle in here. Breathe in, lift up a little. Exhale, release down. And just breathe into any variation of this child's pose that feels good to you right here. Now scan your body And bring your awareness to where you may be engaging your muscles. Maybe it's the muscles around your hip joints. Breathe into those areas, see if they'll soften, maybe even shift side to side. And just go a little deeper. 3 big breaths here. Slowly extend your arms out. And walk yourself back up to sitting on your knees. Take your time, be gentle with yourself. Ooh, and bring your knees back together. You can move your blocks out of the way and come to your belly. So come to your belly and bend your right knee out to the side. This is called half frog. So your right thigh is in line with your right hip, and just let your shin kind of come down in line with your knee. Now reach your right arm forward and take your left hand, slide it underneath your right. So thread the needle, slide your left hand underneath your right, place your left temple down on the mat, and rest the front of your right shoulder down to deepen the stretch in the top of your left shoulder. Slow your breath here. And again, see where you can soften, maybe in your upper back or shoulder, maybe in your right hip or your lower back. Now, yogis, take your right hand underneath your right shoulder, press into the floor, and roll yourself onto your back. So keep your right leg where it is, and just roll yourself into supine twist. So stack your hips and relax your right leg on the left side of your body. Now you can layer in the block since we'll be here for a little while. You can bring a block underneath your right knee for a little bit of support. And relax your right shoulder down. Gaze to the right. And just breathe here. Find release in your lower back. And with time, allow things to settle. Two more big breaths here. And gently roll back under your belly. Make your way back through center. Oh, and maybe neutralize your spine. So bring your hands underneath your chin and bend your knees and just windshield wiper your legs side to side. And switch sides. Lower your legs down and bend your left knee out to the side for that half frog variation. So just bring your left shin right below your left knee. Reach your left arm forward and slide your right arm underneath your left. Drop your forehead down or bring your right temple to the mat. And just breathe to soften. Rebend your left elbow. And just roll over into supine twist. Keep your left leg where it is and stack your hips. Now, if you did on the other side, you can bring a pillow or your block underneath your knee for a little bit of support here and to allow you to disengage all of your muscles. Few more full breaths. Gently roll back to your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just press yourself up to sitting on your heels for hero's pose. Okay, grab your blocks and have a seat. Send your legs out in front of you. So take your right leg out long and bend your left knee. So bring your left foot in. And you can use a lot of blocks here. You can use one, you can use none. Highly suggest using some blocks, even if you are extremely flexible. So the intention is to build a little tower to rest your head on, or maybe even your arms too, so that you can, again, disengage all of your muscles and just allow your connective tissue to soften and stretch. So you could take 3 blocks and build a little block or build a little tower to rest your forehead on here, or a couple different variations. You can just take a block right there, or even on top of your leg and situate it so that you can rest your forehead down and your arms on the side. So again, think total disengagement of all of your muscles. And then you'll notice as we spend some time here, you may even find that you're ready to go a little deeper. So as you need, you can lower your blocks or remove a layer and just let everything rest here. So we're targeting your lower back as you hinge forward and lengthen through your spine. Again, breathe into those areas of resistance. Maybe even notice what thoughts come up when you're in different postures. Where does your mind wander? And just observe, and then come back into your body and be present. Slowly walk your hands back up. Come to a seat. We're going to take something a little different. It's called deer pose. So keep your left knee bent and then bend your right knee kind of behind you. So you're making like a, I don't know what to call this shape, but your left knee is bent and then you're right behind you. And you're, again, we're targeting lower back and side body here. So you can take your blocks and we're gonna walk our hands over to the left side and find a little twist here. So as far over as you can, and then bring your forehead to a block and rest your arms to the mat. And this may not feel like much of anything at the beginning. Again, as you settle in and start to notice your right side body gently opening up. 2 more big breaths here. So to come up to your hand. And send your legs out in front of you and give them a little shake. Switch sides, send your left leg out long and then bring your right foot into your right inner thigh. And then same thing, either build a tower or just take one block, place it strategically, and then hinge forward. Come into half dragonfly. Bring your forehead to a block. And wherever you need it to be, to allow all of your muscles to soften. Maybe notice if you're ready to dial it down a layer. And settle in a little bit deeper. Two more rounds of breath here. Slowly walk your hands back up. And then this time bend your left knee back behind your right foot. And then walk your hands over to the side. Walk it all the way out for deer pose. And then bring your forehead to a block. Bring your arms outside of your head and just rest your forehead down. And you may need to adjust things here to, again, get into your lower back and your side body. Really walk your hands back up. And send your legs out long in front of you. Give them a little shake. And let's try some full dragonfly. So take your legs out to the side as far as you can. And again, this is just where you go in your body. And what you can do is layer in some blocks. So if you want, you can either have a seat on a block, and this will give you a little more space, or you can bring blocks underneath your knees to give you some more space, or pillows or whatever it is. And then I'll just kind of give you a little more space here in your hips. So wherever you are, and again, your feet can be a little closer if you need them to be, start to walk your hands forward. And again, settle in, take your time. You can bring a block underneath your forehead. And find a layer, and just know that from there, you will have time to gently lower down and dial back layers, just like peeling an onion. Hinge your body forward rather than sinking into your hips. See if you can find space and length. 2 more full rounds of breath here. And slowly come back up. And come to a seat. Again, bring your knees in. Maybe a little shake out. And we're going to take a counter stretch. So bend your knees and cross your right knee over your left. So cross them, and you may even need to, you shift forward into like a tabletop, and then you can adjust your legs to bring them as close together as you can. So close to knee, and then sit back onto your sits bones and keep your feet outside of your hips. So this is cow face pose, and it can be a little bit challenging or pretzel-y feeling, but that's also kind of the point. The point is to target your outer hips. So that's where you should feel this. You should feel this in your lower back and outer hips, deep stretch, and you can stay right here. Yeah, you can even sit on a block to give you a little more space in your legs. That might help get into this posture. But wherever you are, if you you can stay in this posture, right? If you feel the stretch, you're good. Stay right here. If you want to go a little deeper, start to walk your hands forward and hinge forward from your waist to deepen the stretch in the outside of your thighs and your glutes. So you can either bring your forehead to your knee, or maybe bring a block to your knee, or just in front of you, and rest your forehead down. But find your layer. And again, this is a very deep outer hip stretch. So sitting up in this position is totally good. This is great. If you feel it, you're doing it right. That's all. It's the best part of Restore. All of yoga, actually. If you feel it, you're doing it right. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter how it looks. And we'll just breathe here. Wherever you are, you can close your eyes and slow your breath. Yeah, who would think outer hips would make your heart beat faster, but somehow they do. And I won't make you stay here for too long. We'll spend more time on our backs tonight, so don't worry. And wherever you are, lean back and maybe send your legs out in front of you. Unwind, a little shake out, and then switch sides. So you figure out how to get into the other side, cross your left leg over your right. And then again, find those variations, either shift forward into a tabletop to get yourself into it, or settle back on your sits bones. And one side's always different, right? We got a strong side and we have an open side. So which side are you on now? And from here, again, you can sit on your block if you like, or you can hinge forward to go deeper into the stretch, or sit and breathe. And that's what yoga is, really, most of the time, right? We're sitting and breathing. So yin practice is really counterintuitive, especially in today's world, right? It's all about action and making things happen. And a yin practice or restorative practice is just about waiting and allowing nature to take its course, which can be really hard. And take one more big breath here. Ooh. And then exhale out. Shift forward and come back into tabletop. So just bring your knees out. And there's a couple ways we're going to get into this, into full frog pose. So we did half frog, which was one leg each side. So for full frog, we can layer in props, which is going to create space for our hips, right? Because can be very intense hip opening. So I would suggest a block right about where your chest is going to go. You can also use one either under your hips or your belly to support your hips so you don't go too deep into that stretch, or even one to rest your head on. So theoretically, you could have 3 blocks or maybe 1 to 2 blocks, and just play with it once you get into there. So I think the easiest way to start is from an extended child's pose. Take your knees out wide and then crawl yourself forward and rest your chest on your block or belly on your block. That's it. And then bring your knees out to the side so they should be in line with your hips, and let your shins kind of fall just off of your knees. And then either rest your forehead to the mat or onto a block. So again, you have time to kind of organize yourself into how you want to spend it here. Do you need maybe more support under your hips or a little space under your chest? And just slow your breath. And again, maybe scan your body and notice what muscles are still wanting to be engaged. You may actually have to convince them to soften. And 2 more big breaths. Slowly bring your feet back together, slide your knees in, and just windshield wiper your knees side to side. Neutralize your spine. Lower your legs down. Take a little counter stretch. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up onto your knees. Come to embryo pose. So keep your knees and toes together to touch, and sit your heels up, or your hips back to your heels, and then curl forward. You can rock side to side. And lengthen through your lower back. Slowly come up to your knees and shift your weight to one side. Begin to make your way down to your back. So take at least 1 block with you. I suggest 2. If you have 4 blocks or pillows, whatever you got, bring them all. There's always a way to use them. And roll all the way down. So we'll just need 1 right now for a supported bridge. Bring your feet underneath your glutes. Lift your hips and slide your block underneath your lower back. And just breathe here. So this is a great relief for your lower back. Again, if you're on your feet, you can even just rock your knees side to side and neutralize your spine. You can also straighten your legs out long. And stretch out the front line of your body. Maybe even reach your arms over your head. We call this starfish pose. So find full extension here to the front line of your body. And again, you may want to play with the level or height of your block. You can go lowest, medium, whatever feels good in your body right here. Big counter stretch to all those forward folds that we just did. And slowly rebend your knees. Lift your hips and remove your block from underneath your lower back. Slowly roll down your spine, and then again, neutralize your spine, rock your knees side to side. This time, take 2 blocks, one for underneath your head, and the other one for underneath your shoulder blades. There's a lot of different layers you can take here. You can take your block flat, or you can take it up to that middle level. But just find the layer that feels right in your body. So wherever you are, you'll need to situate yourself and get your block or pillows or whatever you got lined up underneath your shoulder blades so that your tailbone hangs off the bottom. Now rest your head on your other block and come to Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to fall open. And the next layer, bring your arms over your head. We call this the triple diamond. So bring your index fingers and your thumbs to touch overhead, making diamond shapes with your hands, your arms, and your legs. Big shoulder, chest, and hip opener. Now slowly use your hands. Bring them outside of your thighs and just bring your knees together. You can remove your blocks from underneath you. And roll back onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest. Again, find a neutral spine. Massage your lower back, rock side to side. And come to happy baby. Grab the insides of the soles of your feet and just rock it out side to side. Send one leg out and then the other. And take any final movements that you need in your body. And as you're ready, squeeze your knees into your chest. Bring everything in. Exhale. Shavasana. Allow your palms to face the ceiling and allow your toes to fall open. And you have the option to layer in blocks underneath your legs and feet here. So I'm going to show you a little setup. If you tend to have tightness in your lower back and laying flat is uncomfortable, which it was for me for a very long time when I started yoga, you can bring blocks under your knees and feet to elevate everything. And then relax your lower back to the ground. So elevating your legs will lengthen and straighten out your lower back, or you can just bend your knees and bring your feet to the outer edges of the mat and draw your knees together for fallen TP, and that will also create lengthened space in your lower back. So wherever you are, yogis, find your Shavasana and allow yourself these last few moments to rest and digest. Yogis are welcome to stay in Shavasana. If you're ready to move on with your evening, start to deepen your breath. Expand and contract through your ribs. Then begin to move through your fingers, your toes. Drop your head to one side and then the other. And when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Lengthen from your fingers all the way through the tips of your toes. And then bring your knees into your chest. And roll to one side. Use your hand to press yourself up to a seat. You can keep your eyes closed, just ground down through your sits bones. And again, just feel your body right here in Sukhasana, easy seat. And maybe feel a little more ease in your body and your posture. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Bring your palms together at the top. Exhale, your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in, lift your chest up to meet your thumb. Open mouth, exhale out. Bring your thumbs to the space in between your eyebrows. Bow forward and seal your practice. Namaste. Nice job, everybody. Let me pause this recording really quick. Okay.